You know how we do it. Player's Handbook, Trinket, awesome item. Let's go. And today the Math Box give us number 61. And number 61 is a cameo carved in the likeness of a hideous person. Let's call this one the Thieves' Alibi. While this cameo is in your possession, you can use it to transform into the person that is pictured there. And I'm not talking like a disguised self, I'm talking more like a druid's wild shape. More than just looking like this person, you take on all their physical characteristics. And because of the nature of this transformation, even things like Dispel Magic will not change you back to your original form. Even those with True Sight will not be able to see your true form, but they will be able to tell that you're not who you claim to be. The advantage of this might be fairly obvious. Since nobody can tell who you really are, you can get away with a lot of different crimes. And in fact, the person that you change into is already known as a notorious criminal. And as soon as you choose to take the transformation off of yourself, you revert back to you. So there are no crimes that you committed. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. When you transform into the thing pictured on the cameo, it transforms into you. So if you lose this item, you can't change back. I know you want it. You know I got it. Player's Handbook, Trinket, awesome item. Let's go. And today we've got number 6. And number 6 is an old chess piece made from glass. Let's call this one Checkmate. When you first receive this item, it's in the shape of a pawn, but as you use it, it progresses through the different shape. After it's done its effect, it changes back into a chess piece, the next one in the series. Unless it's the king, but we'll get to that. If you throw a pawn in, 1d4 goblins spawn and fight alongside of you. If you throw a rook in, a giant rook will appear and charge 60 feet straight ahead, bulldozing or trampling anything that gets in its way. If you throw a knight in, a mounted knight on horseback with lance will fight alongside of you. If you throw the bishop in, a healing totem will appear and heal you or one of your allies each turn. If you throw the queen into battle, wherever it lands will be centered a level 5 fireball. And as for the king, that is the only time the piece can be destroyed. If the king is destroyed in battle, you will not get it back. However, while it's on the field, you and all your allies get advantage on all throws. If when you throw this item, it passes through, lands in, or adjacent to an occupied square, the occupant has the chance to catch it. And if they do so, the effect does not take place, they claim ownership. What sort of awesome lurks within these pages? Let's roll for it and find out, and we get number 12. And number 12 is a small cloth doll skewered with needles. Oh, you poor little guy. Well, I can't really think of a better name for this one, so it is the Voodoo Doll. This is in fact a working voodoo doll, and if you're mean like me, it's probably tied to one of the group's favorite NPCs. Now we know why they always complain about aches and pains. If you remove one of the needles, one of their pains goes away. If you add a needle, or move one, they get a new pain. If at any point the players open up that little heart compartment that you see in its chest, you'll find behind it human hair, belonging to the individual it's tied to. If that hair is removed, the doll goes inert, and the person is relieved of all the pain. You could also replace the hair with someone else's, and then it is tied to them. While tied to the doll, the individual becomes immortal. They can still be knocked out, just not killed. And if the doll is ever destroyed, then they are destroyed as well. I know what you're thinking, this sounds OP, but consider, your players do not know how this thing works. And the way I would present this to my players, even an identify spell could tell you that it is a voodoo doll, but not how to work it. So by the time they figure this out, they'll be pretty high level. And who's to say the BBEG has not figured it out, and maybe stolen it, or destroyed. In case you didn't know, this is the Player's Handbook, and it's just full of trinkets waiting to become awesome. And today we're going to take a stab at number 22. And number 22 is a small wooden statue of a smug halfling. We'll call this one the Halfling's Lucky Stick. With this smug-looking totem in hand, you can use the Halfling's Luck feature. After you use the totem, however, you have to roll a d4 to decide its new emotion. If you roll and get an emotion it's already had since its last recharge, in this case smug, the totem instead falls asleep. But we'll get back to that. I'm deciding its new emotion. 1 is sad, 2 is angry, 3 is happy, and 4 is smug. You already know what smug does, so let's cover the others. If it's happy, you get advantage on one roll of your choice, declared beforehand, of course. If it is angry, you get 1 round to rage. And if it is sad, you get disadvantage on 1 roll of your choice. But why would you ever do that? Let's get back to the sleeping. Now, unlike other magic items, this item does not recharge at the end of a long rest or at the end of the day. Instead, it has to sleep. So you have to keep on using it and rolling for it to recharge. This could happen after 1 roll, or it could happen after 4. It will wake up again after you've completed a long rest. So at some point, you're going to have to use that disadvantage. Once more under the book. And this time, number 10 was requested. And number 10 is the deed for a parcel of land in a realm unknown to you. Let's call this one a noble deed. To actually make any use out of this item, the players would need to locate somebody that is familiar with the history, the denizens, or the geography of the Feywild. Issued as a reward for some noble deeds done by presumably one of your ancestors, this document signed by several notable members of noble Eladrin courts effectively makes the owner of this deed the equivalent of a noble in the Feywild. However, somebody was tricky with where they put it. The parcel of land in question is known by travelers as the Death Swamps, because of some noxious fumes that it lets off that is poisonous to all but the Fey. So don't consider building your summer home there. However, as it makes you a noble, you get some negotiation tactics with Fey that you otherwise wouldn't have. I would consider giving my players advantage on some charisma checks with the Fey, or possibly safe passage or better deals when dealing with the Fey. This isn't necessarily a blank check because clearly somebody didn't like the fact this was getting issued, but among others who recognize it for what it is, you will get some advantages. If you liked what you saw in this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, or check out one of the other videos or playlists listed here. Also, be sure to check out the description for links to all of my social media sites. My next video will be posted in 5 days. Thanks for watching.